Roof of the world. Ancient monasteries. Tibetan Plateau. Connected to nature. There is a place in the world often called the closest place to the sky on Earth. A land where majestic snow-covered mountains rise high enough to touch the clouds, and where the air is so thin that every breath becomes precious. That place is Tibet, a mysterious region resting on what many call the roof of the world. For thousands of years, Tibet has been known not only for the extreme heights of the Himalayan mountains, but also for its spiritual stories, ancient monasteries, and a culture filled with mystery. It was once the home of monks who devoted their lives to deep meditation, and of legends about spiritual powers that many believe go far beyond ordinary human understanding. Across the vast plateaus swept by wind and snow, prayer flags flutter in the air, as if sending blessings of peace up toward the sky. Ancient paths wind their way to monasteries perched on steep cliffs, where time itself seems to slow down. So what is Tibet truly like? What has made this land one of the most mysterious and captivating places on our planet? In today's journey, we will explore Tibet together, from its unique geography and harsh climate to the lives of people on the high plateau, and the mystical spiritual stories that have endured for thousands of years. Let us begin our journey to the land closest to the sky on Earth. The roof of the world, Tibet lies on the largest and highest plateau on Earth, the Tibetan Plateau. With an average elevation of more than 4,000 meters above sea level, the region has earned the impressive title, the roof of the world. At this altitude, the sky seems closer than ever. The thin air makes every breath more noticeable, and the sunlight shines intensely across the plateau. Surrounding Tibet are some of the most magnificent mountain ranges on Earth. The most famous of them is the Himalayas, home to Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world, rising nearly 8,850 meters above sea level. These towering peaks are not only challenges for mountaineers, they also hold sacred meaning in Tibetan culture. For the people here, mountains are not merely rock and ice. They are believed to be the dwelling places of gods and protective spirits. For this reason, many mountains in Tibet are considered sacred, and climbing them is traditionally forbidden. The source of Asia's great rivers, Tibet is not only famous for its mountains, it is also the birthplace of many of Asia's greatest rivers. From massive glaciers on the plateau, melting ice forms powerful rivers that flow across the continent. Some of these rivers have sustained hundreds of millions of people for thousands of years. Among them is the Yangtze River, the longest river in Asia. There is also the Mekong River, which flows through several Southeast Asian countries, and the Brahmaputra River, a mighty river that runs through Tibet and India. Because of this crucial role, many scientists refer to Tibet as the water tower of Asia. The waters that begin in this cold and remote land eventually become a vital lifeline for billions of people across the continent. The harsh climate of the plateau, living at an altitude of more than 4,000 meters, is not easy. The climate of Tibet is so harsh that many visitors need several days just to adapt to the conditions. Winter in Tibet is long and bitterly cold. Temperatures can drop below -30 degrees Celsius, and icy winds sweep across the open plateau, creating a sense of solitude and raw wilderness. Yet it is precisely this harshness that gives the land its unique beauty. The sky above Tibet is famous for its deep, intense blue, a color rarely seen elsewhere. During the day, brilliant sunlight illuminates vast grasslands and snow-covered mountains. At night, the sky transforms into an ocean of stars. Far from the lights of modern cities, thousands of stars shine so clearly that it almost feels as if one could reach out and touch the Milky Way. Sacred lakes of the plateau, Tibet is also home to many of the highest lakes in the world. These lakes are not only breathtakingly beautiful, but also deeply spiritual. One of the most famous is Namso Lake, Located at an altitude of more than 4,700 meters, it is considered one of the highest saltwater lakes on Earth. The lake's turquoise waters reflect the sky and the surrounding snow-capped mountains, creating a landscape that feels almost surreal. For many pilgrims, walking around Nanso Lake is a sacred ritual believed to cleanse the Su. The life of the Tibetan people. Despite the harsh environment, the people of Tibet have maintained a rich and unique culture. Many communities still follow an ancient nomadic lifestyle, moving with the seasons in search of pasture for their animals. The most important animal in their daily life is the yak. Yaks provide milk and meat, and their wool is used to make clothing and tents. Yak milk is also used to produce butter, an essential ingredient in Tibetan cuisine. One of the region's most famous drinks is yak butter tea, a salty and creamy tea that helps provide energy in the cold climate. Although life can be difficult, Tibetan people are widely known for their kindness and warm hospitality. The spiritual center of Tibetan Buddhism. For centuries, Tibet has been regarded as the spiritual heart of Tibetan Buddhism, a unique tradition that combines profound philosophy, meditation, and ancient rituals. The historic capital of Tibet is Lhasa, a name that means the place of the gods. For many centuries, Lhasa served as both the political and spiritual center of Tibet. Standing proudly on a hill in the middle of the city is the magnificent Potala Palace. The Potala Palace was once the residence of the Dalai Lama, the highest spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism. With thousands of rooms, massive white walls, and shining golden roofs, the palace resembles a fortress rising into the sky. Inside are ancient murals, sacred statues of the Buddha, and thousands of priceless religii. Great pilgrimages. One of the most striking sights in Tibet is the presence of pilgrims. From all corners of the plateau, people travel hundreds or even thousands of kilometers on foot to reach sacred monasteries. Some pilgrims perform a ritual known as full-body prostration. Every few steps, they lie flat on the ground in prayer before standing up and continuing their journey. This pilgrimage can take months or even years, but for them, it is not a hardship. Instead, it is a spiritual path leading toward enlightenment and inner peace. Mysterious legends. Tibet has long been associated with many mysterious legends. One of the most famous is the legend of Shambhala, a mythical kingdom believed to exist somewhere in the Himalayas. According to legend, Shambhala is a hidden realm beyond the reach of the ordinary world, where people live in peace, wisdom, and enlightenment. During the 19th and 20th centuries, many explorers attempted to find Shambhala, yet to this day, it remains only a legend. Tibet in the modern era. Today, Tibet has undergone many changes. Modern railways and highways now connect the plateau to other parts of China. Travelers from around the world can visit a land that was once considered isolated from the outside world. However, despite these changes, Tibet has preserved much of its ancient culture. Colorful prayer flags still flutter across mountain passes. Ancient monasteries still echo daily with the sound of chanting. And for many people, Tibet remains a place that offers a rare sense of sacredness and peace. Conclusion. A land of mystery. Tibet is not an easy destination. Its high altitude, harsh climate, and rugged landscape make the journey there a true challenge. But perhaps that is exactly what makes Tibet so special. It is a place where nature still retains its untouched wilderness. A place where people continue to live closely connected to ancient traditions and spiritual beliefs. And it is a place that makes anyone who visits feel small before the vast greatness of the world. Beneath the deep blue sky, among snow-covered mountains and the distant echo of temple bells carried by the wind, Tibet still stands there, quiet, mysterious, and endlessly captivating, a land that exists not only on the map, but also in the imagination and the timeless desire of humanity to explore the unknown.